All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. All right, Judiciary After Dark. So 100 days into the administration, Mr. Chairman, the golden age. Some are saying, many perhaps, that even William Henry Harrison had a better 100 days. But I want to talk about the economy, because that will explain my amendments. Goldman Sachs is now saying the United States will have the lowest economic growth and the highest inflation of any developed country, all related to tariffs. The Dow's down 3,000 points. Consumer sentiment has fallen 32% since Trump took office, the largest decline since the 90s. And then, there's this, Trump in January 29, 2024, after inauguration, says, this is the Trump stock market. It's his stock market. And then on April 30th, something happened, and he says, this is Biden's stock market, not Trump's. So anyway, and then today, what he said was even more interesting. He said, and even the next quarter, that will sort of be Biden's also, kind of telling us that it's going to get worse. So, Mr. Chairman, listen, in the spirit of DOGE, I present to you 4 amendments that have over $900 million, some people would say that's $1 billion, okay, of savings to the American people. I decided to DOGE your budget.
What's up, everybody? Major retired Richard Ojeda here, and hundreds of thousands of dollars for ICE bonuses. A dead president had a better 100 days than Trump, and Jared Moskowitz said it all. And one Democrat couldn't stop laughing.
Even though the DOGE caucus in Congress is dead, it met twice. I know, I was there. It did nothing. It was never included. Instead, what we got was a executive branch DOGE program that fell 80% lower than their goal. They left the E out in DOGE. They didn't do anything that was efficient. They've not helped government become more efficient, just the dog part. And so what I did, Mr. Chairman, is I used the exact same metric that Elon Musk used. I just made it up. So let's just go with page 70. Okay, on page 70, you want to put $700 million into the IT budget. I propose we make that $600 million, save the American people $100 million. $600 million for computers, Mr. Chairman, sounds like a lot of money. My next amendment in there is on page 75. You guys want to spend $1.3 billion to hire lawyers. You guys starting a law firm? I mean, didn't Trump get billions of dollars of pro bono work out of all of the law firms? So what I propose, Mr. Chairman, is instead of $1.3 billion, we just spend $1 billion. How about $1 billion on lawyers? That sounds like a lot of money, $1 billion on lawyers.
In a blistering series of events, from a scorching House floor speech to a CNN interview with Wolf Blitzer, Representative Jared Moskowitz dismantled Marge the Trainwreck Greene's so-called DOGE caucus, mocked Trump's dumpster fire first 100 days by saying even a dead president did better, and exposed a bloated GOP budget that includes $42,000 apiece for ICE bonuses, all while Representative Sidney Dove laughed her ass off out loud, and the Republicans sat in stunned silence. It was political comedy meets constitutional crisis as Democrats fired off facts while the GOP pushed authoritarian overreach wrapped in the language of efficiency.
And then this one's my favorite. I don't know if you know this, but you guys have $858 million, again, almost $1 billion, okay, of money to give out bonuses to people. And so listen, bonuses are great when people do good work, but $858 million sounds like a lot of money. That's like a $40,000 bonus to every employee in all of ICE. So how about $500 million? How about $500 million for bonuses? Okay, we can do this together. We can show the American people there's a little bit of waste here, So I can help you capture, Mr. Chairman, $903 million. We can save $1 billion together. Show the American people we're serious.
It wasn't just a roast. It was a verbal smackdown of epic proportions. Moskowitz didn't just DOGE the budget. He exposed how they forgot the E in DOGE, traded efficiency for authoritarianism, and are now outright dodging the Constitution.
Will the gentleman yield for a question?
Of course I will.
You raise a profoundly serious point in your inimitable way, Mr. Moskowitz. The bonuses, that is a huge bonus budget.
Yeah.
What does that work out? Have you done the math to see what that works out in terms of bonus per ICE employee?
$42,000 for every employee in a bonus in addition to their salary.
A $42,000 bonus?
Yeah, $42,000. And I, because you and I sometimes are symbiotic, you're probably going to ask me, what is the average bonus for the American worker in this country?
Do you know what that is?
It's $2,500.
That's the average Christmas bonus is $2,500?
The average Christmas bonus, because Christmas is back, the average Christmas bonus is $2,500, but they want to give $42,000. And what I would suggest in my amendment is instead of $42,000, they get $25,000. That sounds like a lot of money.
Well, it seems to me you've probably hit upon the one thing we really could effectuate a compromise on, although I don't know that we're going to be able to talk to them about it, but maybe they'll just vote for it.
I mean, listen, if no one there wants to talk, bring in Comer. He'll definitely talk to me.
But Moskowitz wasn't just there to roast. He came with receipts. He laid out nearly $900 million in bloat, offering real surgical cuts, not MAGA cosplay cuts designed to punish the poor. He said, I decided to DOGE your budget, and then started cutting. He went line by line, mocking their inflated priorities, like $100 million for a bloated IT contract, or $125 million for a DHS car wish list. I know cars are more expensive because of tariffs, he joked, but $250 million for a new cars? Yeah, that's not budgeting, that's grifting. But then came the one that snapped the room in half, $358 million in ICE bonuses. That's right, bonuses for the agency that's now being given the power to detain and deport U.S. citizens. While poor families are losing SNAP benefits, while seniors are being told to tighten their belts and veterans get their health care slashed, ICE agents are cashing out with $42,000 bonuses apiece. For what? For enforcing terror? For running dress rehearsals for authoritarianism? And ask yourself, why do Republicans care about these costs? This is a drop in the bucket for MAGA's elite class. Marjorie Taylor Greene walked away with what looks like $22 million in insider trading gains. Charles Schwab made $1 billion off Trump's tariff chaos. Another Trump crony bragged about making $900 million in the office while everyone else lost their pensions. They're not cutting government, they're looting it and giving raises to the foot soldiers doing the dirty work. Sidney Dove laughed because she saw the absurdity. Jaya Powell smiled because she saw the scam exposed. And the GOP frozen because there's no defense for this, just silence and complicity. And if you thought that speech on the House floor was brutal, just wait, because then Jared Moskowitz took it to CNN and doubled down.
It's been a complete and utter failure. That's why Elon's had to run away back to his company. He's ruined his name, he's ruined his company, and he's gone on to ruin the federal government. And so look, consumer sentiment is down to the lowest level to 1990. GDP obviously is underwater, completely reversed. The tariffs are the biggest man-made economic disaster of the modern era.
Across from one of the most buttoned-up anchors in the game, Moskowitz didn't flinch. He laid it out clearly. The DOGE caucus is dead. It met twice. I was there. It did nothing. No reforms, no results, no efficiency. Just a clever acronym and a press release. And then he pointed to the executive branch version, the one that actually tried to implement this thing. It failed by 85%, he told Wolf. They forgot the E in DOGE. And when Wolf tried to spin it back towards the layoff and economic contraction, Moskowitz didn't let up. He pinned the blame exactly where it belonged, on Trump's tariffs, the trade war, and the delusion that cutting the government with a chainsaw somehow creates prosperity. The numbers were they're there. Over 280,000 job losses tied to DOGE-style cuts. Consumer confidence tanked. GDP contracting. A man-made disaster with a MAGA label. But that's the thing. This wasn't a mistake. It's the plan. You strip the safety net, slash the budget, and then hand $42,000 checks to the people kicking in the doors. That's not reform. That's repression in a business suit. And the real kicker, while ICE agents are collecting bonuses bigger than most Americans' annual salary, regular people are getting crushed. Families are watching their SNAP benefits vanish. WIC is being gutted. School lunches slashed. Meals on Wheels defunded. And every time the working class speaks up, MAGA screams welfare queens and points fingers at the poor, while billionaires like Elon Musk soak up billions in taxpayer subsidies. Let's be clear. Elon Musk isn't a self-made genius. He's a government-funded parasite with a PR team. He took more welfare than most entire countries, and now he's crying because the government he helped corrupt isn't treating him like a king. The man who wanted to cut bureaucracy with the chainsaw is running from accountability like it's on fire. And through all this, the people who are actually suffering are the ones who didn't cause any of this. The single mom whose SNAP cards keep coming up short, the veteran who lost dental coverage, the minimum wage worker choosing between rent and antibiotics. These are the people bearing the cost of DOGE-era efficiency, and none of them are getting any bonuses. Because in Donald Trump's America, in Elon Musk's America, the punishment always flows downward, and the profit always goes straight to the top. And they want you distracted. They want you mad about food dyes and TikTok bans while they rob your pantry and call it reform. This isn't economic policy, it's class warfare with a red hat and a clipboard. And just when you think it can't get any darker, you realize Congress had to actually vote on whether ICE can deport U.S. citizens. No, really, a Democrat introduced the amendment. Ted Lieu backed it with one line that should haunt every American. This is batshit crazy. And it is. The fact that such a thing even needed to be clarified, that ICE, an agency now being rewarded with $42,000 bonuses, must be told not to deport Americans, should have froze the entire chamber. But the Republicans, they didn't push back. They didn't defend it. They just sat there, silent. Then came Jamie Raskin, cutting through the static with one challenge. Raise your hand if you do not think children with cancer who are American citizens should be deported. Every Democrat raised their hand. Not one single Republican did. Not even for a sick child. Not even for an American. And outside that room, Eric Swalwell stepped up and said what it was. This is a dictatorship. That's a dictatorship. Not exaggeration, not a headline grab. Just one member of Congress watching his colleagues hand Donald Trump the power to deport American citizens and saying what most of them are too afraid to admit. Meanwhile, ICE agents are pocketing massive bonuses, food programs are gutted, veterans and working class families are getting clipped at every turn. But the enforcers of this agenda, they're being rewarded lavishly. And Elon Musk, too busy waving chainsaws on stage with Argentina's Javier Milei, who slashed his nation's safety net so deeply the people are now rioting in the streets. Cryptogate, mass layoffs, collapsed pensions, Elon laughed and posed for photos, and now he's running. From the headlines, from the heat, from the legacy he set on fire. While MAGA influencers stand in front of podiums like they're hosting a reality show and Stephen Miller stages signs with mugshots on the White House lawn, the actual American people are watching their benefits disappear. They're watching prices rise. They're watching politicians vanish from town halls and be replaced with cardboard cutouts. And that brings us right back to Jared Moskowitz. Even a dead president had a better first 100 days than Donald Trump. That wasn't just a zinger. It was a mirror. And if you want to see what he meant, just look around. Moskowitz didn't just call it out. He torched it with facts, with fire, with clarity. Because this wasn't just a speech. It was a line in the sand. And the question now is simple. If this isn't the line, then what is? ICE bonuses, deporting Americans, starving families, state-run cosplay, tech billionaires cutting and running. And in the middle of it, Jared Moskowitz stood up and said, I decided to DOGE your budget. He didn't just expose the grift. He showed us the game. He showed us how they forgot the E in DOGE, traded efficiency for authoritarianism, and are now outright dodging the Constitution. And the rest of us, we better start raising our damn voices and get in this fight. And that is an absolute fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.